From my side also, I'd like to thank you all for coming here today, giving an association. I don't know if everybody knows Jayavada Nagara, do we have it?
Yes, put it on the screen.
Put it on screen. Very simple little song. It's from Baba, one of our great spiritual masters, spiritual teachers, actually know Thakur. It's just a brief glorification of Krishna, of his spiritual realm and his associates. The Prabhupada Acharya, this Hare Krishna movement, he said this is like a window to the spiritual world. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Yashodhana Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Panchakatha ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So just one thing before you start, Maharaj. We just, Gaurangi here, your aspiring disciple, she was up till midnight on Friday night making this garland for you.
Thank you, Gaurangi.
She wanted to give it to you yesterday, but unfortunately wasn't able to. So we'd like to ask Gaurangi to come up and garland you with this beautiful garland that she's made.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Gaurangi. Thank you so much. The labor of love. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. You have my book, right, Gaurangi? She has this book, doesn't she? You haven't got this book, Gaurangi? Come and get it. There you are, this is for you. This is called Animals, most of you know. Animals in Krishna Consciousness. There you go. Huh?
Very serious book.
Very serious. It is, in its own way, it's serious. It's serious. Take a chance. But it gives an indication. Actually, it's quite a well-distributed book now. It's sold a lot. I didn't realize that somebody printed it in India, and they sold a lot of. When I went to the shop to try to get one, they refused to give me a copy. I said I wrote it. It doesn't make no difference. You've got to pay for it. Anyway, it does indicate that spiritual. It's helped a lot of people to understand, the difference. There's a soul, not just human being soul, but everywhere. Animals also are soul. They're living entities. They're souls. They're persons. They have emotions, the same as we do. I mean, it comes out, no doubt, in different detail, but the same base principle is there. And a lot of people have been affected, I think. I've heard anyway. It may have had some beneficial effect on some people's, let's say, involvement, spiritual involvement. I hope so. I hope you enjoy the book, Gaurangi. Where's she gone? Is she there?
She's the other side.
Oh, maybe I'm not meant to mention. Maybe it's a secret. Some of you are friends or family members of Daniel. Anybody here, a friend or family member? I was a friend, but anyone a family member or related? Grandparents? Where are the grandparents? Oh, they are. Married Ball, welcome. Hare Krishna. Good to see you here. Thank you. Anyway, we'll leave that till later. So, is anybody coming for the first time? First time coming? Thank you. How did you come today? How did you find out what brought you here? You're the guilty party. Thank you for coming. You've never been to a Hare Krishna function before?
I have one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where was that?
Oh, I have been here.
You've been? Oh,
Yeah.
long time ago?
Yeah. 4 years. 14 years ago.
14. Amazing how the memory is. 4 or 14. Time flies, doesn't it? Time flies. 14 years ago. Some of you were not here then. 14 years ago. So as I mentioned, I came. Well, I first came to Newcastle in 1972. With Hare Krishna, we were just doing books in Newcastle. 1972. He came back on and off over the years, traveling around the country, chanting Hare Krishna, trying to, if you're very young and enthusiastic, trying to engage others, and connect others. And in 1980 I came here and stayed here for some time. We had as many of you are from Newcastle itself? Anyone here from Newcastle? Or living, let's say living in Newcastle, or Greater Newcastle, including Gateshead, or Sunderland, or Wall's End, or South Shields, or wherever Hexham, Durham, anywhere around the area. Anyone living in the area? Pulls up, and it pulls up if you're living in the area. Put your pulls up. You're not. Where are you living? That's not far away. That's in the area. Come on. I know they're the best of friends, aren't they? Sunderland and Newcastle. Amazing how this identification label creates, sometimes, I don't think it's very much now, but it has created historically some kind of image and some kind of feelings. You see it sometimes. It's because of the town you're born in, or the colour you're born in, or the religion you're born in, or whatever, even genders sometimes. There's that, you develop hatred or love or different relationships with each other without ever meeting, without ever understanding. This is all bodily identification. They're the same thing with animals. We see them as objects of our pleasure. We don't consider it so much from our perspective, sometimes, not so much. Spiritual, let's say, vision, supposed to see a little bit beyond that. But oftentimes we forget and identify ourselves with being whatever it is, a Geordie, or what do they call people in Sunderland? Do they have a name?
Macum.
Macos?
Macum. Macum it was to do with when they were building ships, and they would say we mack 'em, as in we make 'em.
Oh, we mack 'em.
We mack 'em, and then the Geordies tack 'em. We mack 'em, and they tack 'em.
They tack 'em.
They take 'em.
They take 'em. They get all the credit. And we mack 'em and they get all the credit. Now we know the truth. Now we know why. Thank you for that very important piece of information. He's also living in Sunderland, right?
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
also Macam.
He's a Macam.
He's also Macam.
Huh?
He's also Macam.
He's also a Macam. There's a few Macams
That's why he's
here.
over that side.
Are you a Macam nearby? You're close to a
I live in
Macam.
Newcastle, but I'm a
Huh?
I live in Newcastle, but I'm always for the Sunday.
Over that way. Hey. It's amazing, all over the world, this tendency to discriminate or labels that we would, because we have to have identity for communication. It shouldn't be an impediment to our relationship or purpose in life. And thus, you could say, in a sense, the essence of, well, Bhagavad Gita is, many of you are familiar, some of you may not have it, but is he okay? Are you doing all right there? Tipping him upside down. How would you like to be tipped upside down? Come on, give it a go. Did you see that? My goodness me. Now, Bobby, what do you think of that man there who tipped upside down? Wait till I get older, I'll get that. Who does he think he is?
It's like Gorangi goes to judo.
Huh?
Just like Gorangi goes to judo class.
Oh, very good. She's a wise girl. Yeah, wise girl. So, anyway, it's to go a little bit beyond these conditions. We all have our material body and our material condition and material natures and so on. That's okay. But to understand our spiritual nature is not a very common pursuit, is it really? We don't find many people, many matams chasing after the soul. You don't find a lot of self-reliant Mackhams. Self-reliant Geordies walking around. The level of realization is a local football team, isn't it?
That's the religion.
That's the religion of the area. Most religions, unfortunately, are also tinged with this temporary achievement process, mostly based on gross and subtle improvements, improve the standard of living, etc. Okay, that's not wrong, but it's not the real, that's not the spiritual goal. Everything material has its beginning and its end. Nothing remains long in its form. And the energy may remain, but the form which it takes is. So in the Bhagavad Gita is touched upon in all religions and spiritual paths to try to see beyond just this temporary world. You see in the Bible, he says, I'm in the world but not of it. It's not a real home, in a sense. We're talking not of the body, but of the person inside the body. To find out our actual identity. You could say that the problems which we face in the world, whether they're problems due to unrest, terrorism, or whatever it may be called, labelled, are related to this. They're due to this identity crisis, thinking that I am something, or we are something, we are a particular denomination, or we are a particular race, country, gender, generation, even generation gaps are sometimes even there. Proclivities, different tendencies that people have, and we discriminate due to condition, things we've heard, but we don't necessarily really know the actual situation. We just assume or become conditioned to think in such a way. Spiritual knowledge is to try to help us to go a little bit further than that, to rise above that level of relationship. Because if we make a relationship based upon material identification, then definitely it's going to create a lot of friends and enemies, a lot of duality, you could say, takes place in this world due to ignorance of our real identity. So we search out our identity. Hare Krishna. How you go? Oh, you look smart today, Jagadish. Where are you coming from?
I have to go to work straight after.
Where are you working? I can't quite read it from here.
Mighty, almighty.
Almighty. Working for the Almighty. Good. Okay. So we'll read a little bit from here. I've opened on this particular section of the Bhagavad Gita, so we'll read here. Om Jnana Timarandasya Janashalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. This is a little mantra which we often say before we read or discuss things. It's just like a little prayer, it's like a little recognition and offering our respects to those great personalities who've given us this opportunity, from whom we've received some of the guidance and knowledge which we're trying to live in our lives. It's customary even in material, well it was, maybe not so much now, but when, I remember when I was a kid, not so much, but when the teacher would come into the classroom, we would stand up. Do they still do that? Do they still do it in the classroom?
In Russia they do.
They still do it in Russia?
Yeah.
When the teacher comes in, all the students stand up. Isn't it? Now in England, when the students come in, the teachers come. Have to bow down to the students. And if you misbehave, they give them a good rap on the knuckles or something. Yeah, there's the kind of natural respect for authority, for teachers and doctors and priests and any senior person in society, even age-wise. That respect is quite prominent here in England. I can't speak everywhere, but I'm sure, I know it is in Asia, of course. I presume in most countries, that natural respect is there. So I think they're senior. We're receiving our knowledge or our facilities from them. So we show respect. So it's like, especially spiritual, because we don't have our own means, really, of obtaining spiritual knowledge. It's not easy to obtain just like that. And when we do receive it from somebody, then we show not just our gratefulness, but we're also asking for their blessings. Honoring them for great service which they're rendering to society. There's a great missing link in society today. There's progressively more and more mature knowledge, we can say, about different aspects of the universe, about human body and so on. And there's nothing necessarily wrong in that, if it's in the right light. But if it's in the mood of becoming more and more materially motivated, becoming exploitative, becoming greedy and lusty and so on, it's not very much benefit. It doesn't really help anyone very much. But that's okay if it's done with a spiritual intention, with a spiritual purpose. Everything has its connection. So in Christ here, everything's connected spiritually. And that's the big lack in society, is the spiritual knowledge. And you don't find very much emphasis placed upon it, whether it's in the form of political area. I think we just had the election a few days ago. The party of one was it? What is it called? The monster. What was that?
Monster
Loony.
Monster Raving Loony Party.
Yeah, the Monster Raving Loony Party. Did they win? The Monster Raving
They're all
Loony
Monster
Party.
Raving Loonies.
Some people say that. At least they're honest about the name of their party. I think. It's amazing how they come up with these things. But we had some of those who once stood for Parliament, not in England, in America, in God We Trust, I think they got quite a few votes, actually. Of course, most people wouldn't be very enthusiastic to, at least in their present condition, to adopt a lifestyle of progressive purity, godliness, so to speak, spirituality. But never mind, what we do is do our best and try to introduce Krishna consciousness or spirituality in society. It's a big thing which is lacking. And some people are taking it seriously. And many people have received this knowledge, and we hope in time they'll gradually apply it in their lives more and more to bring about a transformation in society, in this materialistic age which we live in. So I'm going to read one verse here, if you turn open on this page. If you have a Bhagavad Gita, or if you want to put it on the screen, what it means to us. Third, chapter 3, text 39. That must be the verse that opened on. That's the one I read. And I will just read it through because we haven't got so much time. I think we finish at 4:30, 4:45, is it?
It's okay, you can.
I don't want to go on too late. We've got young children and guests are here today. So we'll see. Text 39 of the 3rd chapter. Avitam Jnanamete. Someone's got a rough voice. Someone's got a very rough voice. It sounds like an elephant trying to repeat an answer. Unusual sound. Is that someone's stomach? They're getting hungry. What was that?
think it was a Harley Davidson actually.
Oh, the Harley Davidson. I remember Harley Davidson. I was just reading a couple of days ago from an interesting book. It's called Chasing Rhinos with a Swan. Have you got that one yet? Dan Sunder's book has just come out. It's called Chasing Rhinos with a Swan. It's a funny title. It's not literal, but Prabhupada said that when he came in the early days to the West. He said, because he was very challenging, really amazing, doing things which no one would really think about. Very bold, dramatic preaching, introducing Krishna consciousness into the world. So he said, we have to be like that. We have to chase the rhinoceros. And he said, no one can catch a rhinoceros, but if you catch the rhinoceros, everyone will say, wow, that was amazing. And if you don't catch the rhinoceros, they will say, anyway, it doesn't matter. No one can catch a rhinoceros anyway. So it's a win-win situation. And so Shyamasundar is one of the first devotees in this Western Hare Krishna movement. He always took that on board. He always did everything he could. He was the one who met the Beatles, who contacted Prince Charles, who started the first Rath Yatra, who did the first huge public, events with big groups chanting Hare Krishna like Grateful Dead. And you've never heard of them probably unless you're really into the underground music. All sorts of groups, Moby, Graydon. He got them all going. And he was the one who, basically he got the Krishna book, funding of the Krishna book. So many things. The Bhaktivedanta Manor. He built the first temple with his own hands. He built the first Jagannath deities. He was always one for these type of things, He just wanted to do something special for Prabhupada, really challenging. And when they first came to London, they had no temple in 1968. And then there was one newspaper, and you probably haven't heard of it. It's called IT. Some of you are working in IT. Maybe it descended from that. It was the underground newspaper, which was the newspaper of the hippies. Some of you were a member of the hippie community when you were young? I don't know. What is your name? Steve?
Yeah.
Steve? You were here? You were a hippie? In the late 60s?
The magazine was called Oz.
There was another one called Oz, there was one called Mad, but there was one called IT. And they had their base in London. It was in Betterton Street. And they were the first one. They were a little bit more sober than the Oz or Mad. They were a little heavier. And they had their up, and they moved their office, and they met the devotees in various ways. They were all meetings here and there. And they offered their building to the devotees. It's the first temple of Hare Krishna in England, in Betterton Street. It's in London. What's it called? The market. What's the market there? Covent Garden. Covent Garden. Covent Garden. In the Covent Garden area. They started the first temple in 1968 in Betterton Street. And when George Harrison was in San Francisco visiting, he invited, he made some invitations, said you should come to London or some of the music groups he met there. So one of them came. They were called the Grateful Dead. They were very friendly with the devotees. They were very close to the devotees in San Francisco. Shamsundar was in San Francisco before he came to London. So they came and they just suddenly turned up. They got the devotees were in Betterton Street. They got a call. They got a call from the airport, and it was the leader of the Grateful Dead saying, "We've arrived at the airport. Can you pick us up and find somewhere for us to stay overnight in London?" Because the Apple, who he thought had invited them, didn't have anywhere. They weren't interested. George Harrison wasn't around. So the devotees, they only had a pickup truck. So they went to the airport in a pickup truck to pick up the Grateful Dead, but they didn't know that the Hells Angels were with them also. You've heard of the Hells Angels, maybe. Still around? They were Harley Davidsons. They brought their Harley Davidsons over on the airplane, and the devotees went and picked them up at the airport. So they had these heavy, members of the Hells Angels walking into the Betterton Street little temple there, and they said, "Can you please take your shoes off before you come in?" Boots. They had like about 1,000 sticks of incense to tolerate it. Unbelievable. I wish we never did it that way. The Hell's Angels. That was their first entry in. Their first entry into England was through the Hare Krishnas. The Hell's Angels came in, stayed overnight at Patterson Street with the devotees, two of the big Hell's Angels, and big leather jackets and medals and so on. I don't know how they got in. They did anyway. And then they started their chapter. They called it chapter. Hell's Angels. Anyway, as you mentioned, Harley Davidson, it came up. So here we go. And this is very relevant. Avitam Jnane Jnanino Nityavarina Kamarupena Kaunteya Pushpurena Nalena Cha. Now, I'm just going to go forward a little bit here. A few words I want to mention here in this verse. We can mention them all. We'll just mention a few. One is Kamarupena. You can see it in the third line. Kamarupena, it means in the form of lust. Very interesting, because a couple of verses earlier, a very interesting question was asked. Bhagavad Gita, spoken by Krishna to Arjuna, that it's meant to all 5,000 years ago, in a very precarious situation. But these instructions are relevant to all of us at all time in every circumstance. They apply to everyone. They're not just some temporary religious doctrines. These are facts of life, which we all have to face. Kamarupena means in the form of lust. And lust, Arjuna asked a question, maybe four verses earlier. And he said, what is it that causes us to act in various ways, sinfully, or whatever you want to call it, as if against our will, almost by force, we're driven to act in such a way. And I guess everyone sometimes has experienced that very vividly. It's going on all the time in one sense, but sometimes very vividly. We get angry or we react to some situation, we can overcome. Our senses get the better of us, we say sometimes. And so what are the answers? And Krishna said, Kama Esha Kura Esha Adhiguna Samudbhava Vidiyam Hiravayam Mahashama Papma Vidiyam Hiravayam. It is lust only, Arjuna, lust only, which in contact with the modes of material nature and mode of passion transforms into wrath or anger, and is the all-devouring sinful enemy of the world. It's the enemy of the world, lust. What is lust? Most people, I don't know, what would they think lust means? Most sexual, they think sexual, isn't it lust? Mostly considered like a sexual urge of some kind. I guess, an unbecoming sexual urge, or overboard, more than normal. Some maybe, but it means a lot more than that. It means acting on one's own whim, with oneself in the center. It could be lusting for anything. It could be lusting for a paper tissue. Not very serious form of lust. But you could be lusting for anything, any kind of thing. For me, I want it. And it develops into greed and then envy, of course, if you don't get it and so on. Or they're all related. And they become angry. And they're all related. But it's lust, this desire to want to enjoy something. And so it's for my pleasure. Whether it's sexual enjoyment, it could be anything. Food, objects, money, people, anything, property. Lusting over things. It's the thing which binds the soul in this material. So it's kamarupena in the form of lust. And then, what is that kamarupena? There's a word there, dushpurena, analena. Nice verse. Dushpurena, analena cha. Also, it is never satisfied and burns like fire. And the translation goes, thus the wise living entities, because by nature the soul is Satchidananda, is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss, covered over. Thus, the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust. Covered over, that's all. like you get a jewel and it's covered over by dirt. You can't see the jewel. The jewel's still there, but it looks like a bowl of dirt. Or if you have water, it's clean, and then you put all kinds of things in there, it becomes dirty, murky. You can't see through it. The water can be cleaned, the jewel can be uncovered, but there's a process of cleansing the water, process of uncovering the jewel. The soul is like a jewel. Like a jewel. Just an example, but not exactly a material jewel, but it's just an example to illustrate. And this effort to satisfy, we're covered over. The pure consciousness of the soul is covered by all kinds of desires, all kinds of concepts and attachments which we have. And of course that means karma, all kinds of karmic reactions covering our consciousness. And that's actually causing all the problems. We think we have to fulfill, isn't it? I have to fulfill all these desires, then I'll be satisfied. Isn't it? I need more and more and more and more, then I'll be happy. Isn't that what they all promise when they stand for Parliament? We will give you more. Isn't it? We will satisfy your desires. We are here to represent you. We will give less taxes, more benefits, more sense enjoyment, is it? If you say my policy, we're going to raise the taxes, reduce the sense gratification, make you work harder, and I don't think you'll get many votes. Huh? Well, it's probably what they do when they get in. Their manifesto is not like that, is it? But everybody knows it, but nobody seems to do anything about it. Isn't it? Every time you say the same old damn thing over and over again, it makes no difference, eh? Isn't it? But we don't do nothing about it. And if someone offers something about it, no, we have to suffer. It's almost like we're conditioned to suffer. It is said in the Manusmriti, that's a very old scripture, which is the guidebook for mankind in terms of practical behavior, that lust cannot be satisfied by any amount of sense enjoyment. Pretty frustrating, isn't it? No matter how much you get, you're still not going to be satisfied. It's a living fact. The Rolling Stones, they sang about it, right? I'm not going to get into my terrible musical mood, but they sang a song about it. They couldn't get any satisfaction. And they got all the material things that most kids at that time wanted, and still they were not feeling satisfied. Well, we're always hankering for things. Oh, a new one, another one, another place, another this, another that. It's gone extremes now. Now it's become another partner, another this, another, so many things, another sexual proclivity. It never ends. They're never satisfied. We're still not satisfied. No matter how much we've got. Is it that rich people are more satisfied than poor people? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They're still not happy. They may be, relatively speaking, happy like anyone else, but not satisfied. It never ends. Never satisfied by any amount of sense enjoyment. Just as fire is never extinguished by a constant supply of fuel. No matter how much you pour in there, it continues to. It'll burn. It may be immediately. Sometimes you have a fire and you put some, not really paraffin, but you take ghee. Ghee is like pure butter. It's like the original, without all the ingredients. And it burns also. When you put that on initially, the fire goes down a little bit, hot. But then when it heats up, boom, it burns up like anything. As soon as it gets to that temperature, it ignites and goes, really burns. So it's like that. We satisfy our material desires for a moment, and then they burn again, but stronger. In the material world, the center of all activities is sex, and thus this material world is called Maitunya Agara, the shackles of sex life. This attraction to enjoy the senses, particularly the genitals, is very, very strong. And every species of life may be more conditioned by the impulses and the modes of nature, different animalistic lifestyle, but in human life it can happen anytime. It's like it doesn't have any necessary timing, it's just whenever. In the ordinary prison house, criminals are kept within bars. Similar to criminals who are disobedient to the laws of the Lord are shackled by sex life. Isn't that an amazing statement? Most people think that's liberation, freedom. That was the hippies' motto, free sex. That was their, if they had anything to stand for, politically, it'd be free drugs and free sex. Right? That would be one of the things. And it's still the same with a lot of people. And that this is like a sign of success or something. But here it says it's the shackles. It keeps us bound up. There's regulated sex, which is recommended. Even the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about that, buying that sex life according to religious principles within marriage and so on. But it goes out of hand, completely out of hand, terribly out of hand. This day and age, there's all kinds of abominable things going on. And it binds us in this material world. We become very attached. And it's a kind of intoxication to your sense enjoyment. You can't get it out of your mind. The more you feed it, the stronger it gets. Never satisfied. Children, have you ever noticed that? Isn't it sometimes? Are they satisfied the more you give them? Well, I want this, I want that, you give them this, are they satisfied? They want something else then, don't they? For 5 minutes they're happy with that toy, then that one gets thrown out the window, and it's got to be another one, right? Isn't it? Smash, bang, crash, break that one, they want another one, and then they see another kid's got one and they want that one, and it never ends. It's the same with everything. They're just children and adults are the same. We just call it, a different terminology, but it's the same thing. We're never satisfied. We want something new all the time, whatever form it takes. But still not satisfied. Because satisfaction comes within, and any circumstance, whatever comes its way, one can be happy. Advancement of material civilization on the basis of sense gratification means increasing the duration of the material existence of a living entity, because that's what we want. Religion, which just provides material sense enjoyment, is just binding us in this world. Not really any value. Providing more and more and more and more material facilities means we get more and more entangled and more attached, more and more karmic reactions, and repeated birth and death in this world. Increasing the duration of our existence in the material world. Therefore, this lust is a symbol of ignorance. Symbol of ignorance by which the living entity is kept within the material world. Amazing. While one enjoys sense gratification, it may be that there is some feeling of happiness. But actually that so-called feeling of happiness is the ultimate enemy of the sense enjoyment. Because we're always hankering for it, we're getting a little pleasure. And we're willing to undergo and work hard, sometimes suffer, to try to take a risk also. Unless people take severe risks in order to get that sense that even they know it's going to be punishable. They do things sometimes they know, legally speaking, by law, they could get punished. But still they take that risk just to get that little relief or that little sense gratification. Even they have a little knowledge of it, but in general it's due to ignorance of not knowing where real happiness can be found. Where one can really find the happiness which we're searching after. I'll read one, that's the end of the purpose. I'll read one verse in the second chapter, which made a big impact on me, as when I first came in contact with the Hare Krishna in 1971. I was very attached to many things, and one of them was the music of the time, all kinds of different types of alternate music which were coming forth. So then I read this verse, it's text 46 of the second chapter, 246. Then I'll put it up to you. It goes like this. I'll just read the English. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. Vedas means books of knowledge, ancient scriptures. And the purpose of those ancient scriptures is to know the source, the cause, even behind those scriptures. And that's explained later in the Bhagavad Gita. But the source of the origin of knowledge, the knower of everything, the purpose of knowledge, everything, is explained later. But when I read that verse, I was, at that time, I suppose you could say some kind of hippie, and it really had a profound effect on my life. There was no purport. At that time, this Bhagavad Gita was not published. There was only a shortened version of this book. Mostly there were not so many purports. This verse had no purport, so I came to my own conclusion when I read this verse. And it just struck me, Krishna, I understand, gave me that little understanding. But all purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. So I took it like that. It meant, okay, I'm getting some happiness out of listening to music or lifestyle I was leading. I can't complain. Relatively speaking, I was pretty well situated, you could say. I was getting some pleasure. But then I thought, well, it's the pleasure. Why do I do these things? What is my motive? It's the pleasure that we get out of it. Of course, there's some duty in that too, of course. There's a form of pleasure in performing one's duty also. But it's the pleasure, it's called rasa, the rasa which we get out of the activity, which is the real essential, the juice. It's like a fruit. If you get a mango, for instance, or any fruit, it's the rasa. Rasa means the juice, the sweet juice. It means sweet taste that you get from it. I mean, if you get, okay, here's a mango, and I just give you the seed and the skin. Is it a mango? And the dry pith. Here you go, here's a mango. Enjoy it. A dry seed and some skin, chewy skin, and some totally dry pith where there's no juice left in it at all. Would you be very inspired to take that? Not really. Or an apple, you just give you the pips, the apple pips, and the stem, and the sticker on the edit on there. There's an apple. Yeah, you could say it's an apple, but it's not really the essence of the apple. It's the juice, isn't it? The juice inside. That's where the taste comes, from the juice that the liquid from part of the apple or the mango. It's the taste. So it's the taste we get out of things, which is the impetus for doing it. That's the driving force for whatever it is, whether it's driving a car fast or having a Harley Davidson and revving up outside the temple, whatever it may be. It's the taste. It's some kind of taste, depending on the mode of nature which is conditioning us. Different people get different types of taste for different things, but it's the actual satisfaction that we get. So this struck me that, yes, okay, so this is a little tiny drop of pleasure, a little thing, in a little time space, in a little place somewhere in the world. I'm getting a little pleasure out of it. I'm tiny, the place is tiny, the thing is tiny, and I'm getting a little tiny bit of pleasure out of it. Okay, accepted. But if it was a great ocean, let's face it, the little pond gets its water from the great ocean. It's a process, but it gets its water from the great ocean. That's the reservoir. So whatever you get from that little pond, you can get in a great reservoir, but in unlimited quantities. And if it's the satisfaction which I'm looking for, well, if Krishna consciousness is, or Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure, then if I try to connect with Krishna, then surely that happiness will be satisfied. And that's the secret. Krishna explains that a little bit later in the second chapter, a few verses on. Vishaya vinivatante niraharasyadeni vasavajam vasupyasya param drishtva natate. That it's not all about just stopping material things. It has to be replaced. It's all very well saying, oh, lust is this, this material entanglements and suffering, and I can go on and on and on if you want. But that's the point is, what are we going to do about it? Just try to increase the fever, make the fever higher? Is that the solution? More and more and more? Or is there some other solution? So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives alternative. And he indicates it. Now, you have to see in the rest of the book, of course, but in the 59th verse of this chapter, he explains how it's not just about stopping our material activity, but it's about experiencing something more satisfying. Brahmdrishtvanavārtate, a higher taste. A higher taste. So otherwise you can't really, go on. You can't move forward. Just replacing a material taste with another material taste is not the solution. Even if it may be considered to be a better one, it's not the solution. It's to experience actual, spiritual, or higher taste. So that's the process, to awaken or uncover the heart, cleanse the heart, so we can start to see another perspective, another level, and experience the effects of that. It's like waking up from a dream or something. When you're dreaming everything, whatever you see or experience in a dream, at that time, in most cases, you do get exceptions, but in most cases, that's it, that's your world. You take that as the reality, and it just feels like that's one's real world. And when you wake up, you think, oh, thank God, that was just a dream, or, oh, no, I wish I never woke up, whichever type of dream it may be. Sometimes the dream is, good, and sometimes it's not so good, but either way, it's only temporary. So the material world, sometimes we get a little pleasure, sometimes not, but it's only temporary. So it's like waking up from a dream and realizing this is not all there is. There's a lot more to life than meets the eye. A lot more. And then we can really do things, say, in this world, and not be entangled. We can live with family, we can live in occupations, we can do whatever one has to do, without becoming entangled, and at the same time experiencing a happiness within, and not one dependent upon the objects without. Whether we get what we want materially or not get what we want materially, whether this happens or that happens. At least that's for those who are more mature. They're undisturbed by the dualities of this material world. But for most of us, we're very much affected by the dualities. We're very much eager to try to adjust the material world for our sense enjoyment. So this verse meant a lot to me when I read it. There was no purport, but I could understand it. It was really the happiness. If I was going to, I said, I'll give it a go. So I gave it a go. And I tried to practice Krishna consciousness, applied it as best I could. I was living at home with my parents at the time. But I applied it as best I could, is to see for myself. Nothing to lose, they say. And consequently, it wasn't very difficult to, at least the basics of material life within almost on the spot. Well, it did on the spot. We gave up intoxication. I was already vegetarian. And sex life became less of a driving, I'd say, force, gambling, sport, all these things were there. But pretty easy to let go of when you have some experience of something more sweeter, more tasty. But that's the idea. It's not just a philosophy. It's supposed to be accompanied with practice. And as Krishna says, next verse, one maybe, 2 verses down. No, not in the wrong. I've got to the chapter we were reading before, in the 4th chapter, in the 3rd chapter, 4th chapter actually. Where Krishna said, by applying oneself to this knowledge, one realizes this knowledge in the course of time. It applies it. Like anything, we apply it. If you have a recipe for preparation, you put the recipe into practice, and then you can hopefully get the result. And hopefully one gets the preparation, nice preparation. You have to put it into practice. So Krishna's giving us the general directions of practice, and the details he says we should approach a spiritual authority to get details, but the general practices are given in the Bhagavad Gita itself. And this age which we're living in, probably the easiest, because it is said to be the easiest and the only effective means in this age which we live in of experiencing this higher taste and becoming delivered, freed, cleansed, and consciousness cleanses the chanting. This sound vibration, associating with this sound vibration of the Maha Mantra, particularly many names are there, spiritual names, they're all good, but recommended particularly the Maha Mantra. This Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is particularly recommended in this day of Kali Yuga. So, previous spiritual masters and Krishna himself has recommended this chanting, public chanting, particularly this public chant, like many of you did yesterday. Some of you here yesterday were there on Northumberland Street. We went out yesterday because it was such a nice sunny day yesterday. It was so beautiful. And so many people were out there on the street enjoying the heat wave and Newcastle. They even came, the muckers, what they're called?
Macam.
Even not the muckers, the Macams. Macams, even many Macams came. And many Macams came over the border to Geordie land and joined us yesterday, chanting and dancing and sharing Krishna consciousness in Northumberland Street. It was very impressive to see how you all came together as a united program. Very nice. See how many people participated. Very kind of you. Thank you for doing that. I hope you can continue doing similar sharing programs. You can even do it in Macam, what's it called? Macam land? Land of the Macams. You can do it in the land of the Macams and make it truly sundar.
Sri Macam Dham.
Yeah, we can make in that land of the Macams, you can make it sundar land, isn't it? Sundar. What is sundar?
Beautiful.
Beautiful. We can make it very beautiful by sharing Krishna consciousness. And because the soul is very beautiful, and that's why there's a little beauty in the material world, because of the soul. The presence of the soul makes the body look a little beautiful sometimes, relative. As soon as the soul goes, the body just rots. So, Hare Krishna, thank you very, very much. I hope you can experience a little drop of that higher taste, singing the holy name of Krishna. Just try to hear that sound and allow it to purify our consciousness. Which it does. It's association is naturally affects us all, both materially and subtly. We get affected by association. So I want to offer this little opportunity to all of us to try to take more advantage of the association of the holy name. So are there any questions? Comments?
Thanks, Maharaj. It was nice to hear your class. You were mentioning this verse.
Nice to hear it's over.
Yeah, I'm getting hungry. I want the higher taste.
The higher taste.
You were talking.
We have a book called The Higher Taste. Is it here? You have it?
We've run out.
Run out. It's so popular we ran out. So don't run out without the higher taste. Okay.
You were talking about this verse where Krishna says that, if we get a higher taste, that's the juice, like you were saying, the mango is juicy. So that when we get a higher taste in Krishna consciousness, then we lose taste for material pleasures. So I was thinking sometimes we feel like we're not really getting a taste in Krishna consciousness. We feel like we're not getting a higher taste, and then we lose interest. So what's going wrong there? It seems like the higher taste's not there. We hear about it, but we're maybe not experiencing it.
Yeah, it's all a hoax, actually. It's a hoax. We just want your money, really. Yeah, it's natural. Sometimes happens. Well, not natural, but that sometimes happens. And we go up and down, naturally. We're in the material world. We're surrounded by our previous objective attachments of various kinds. We do have responsibilities in this world too, which naturally occupy a lot of our space and time. We have our previous conditionings with all accompanied, attachments therein, which we may not even be aware of at the present moment, and how deep sometimes our material attachments are. Karma comes up in certain points of time. At certain points of time, those attachments may also surface. We may have developed various kinds of attitudes towards various philosophies, and may become cynical or whatever it may be over many lifetimes or in this lifetime. You may be surrounded by people who have got other strong opinions who constantly try to, by their association, influence us. We're generally not so fixed in consciousness, especially in the early stages of our spiritual path. And oftentimes it's, we're weak-hearted or we're just not really realized in that sense. We may be getting a little taste. It's just like you take, for instance, somebody who's a drug addict. And many times they make a sincere endeavour to come free of it. They know it's not good for you. They go through the courses and they try their best to get free. But then oftentimes, either by weakness of heart or by association or some other influence, they fall back into their behaviour pattern again. Whatever, it could be anything. And any kind of addiction of any kind. Hard to kick and hard to get free of. So there may be many reasons why one may start the process of Krishna consciousness. Krishna says there's no loss, of course. Any amount of practice is not a loss, even if it's only a small amount of advancement. It's never lost. It's a permanent gain. But because of association and already conditioned natures sometimes, we get weak, we get carried away with other things. It's too difficult. Everyone around you is doing something else. The association we've got doesn't seem very attractive either sometimes. When you go to a hospital, you don't expect everybody to be in good health. It's just the way it is. I mean, you went to the hospital, you start complaining when you're in the hospital. This is a terrible place, I'm sick. I've come here, everyone else is sick. How the hell am I going to get better in a place like this? Definitely, but there should be at least some persons who are, especially some examples of those becoming healthy, examples of those who are healthy or helping others to become healthy and so on. So there'll be all different degrees, but sometimes we oscillate towards association which is not so healthy, and we get infected. And today, in today's world, also it's prominent in more than just person to person. We have all the wonderful modern technology to allow us to access everything, practically speaking, that is or isn't going on around the world. And so we get affected sometimes. Just like that verse said, consciousness of the living entity becomes covered by our eternal enemy in the form of lust. The association of desire for sense gratification, or lust in the form of seeing ourselves in the center, gets the better of it, because coming from that conditioning, it's easy to get drawn back into it in the beginning stages. It's very easy. And the more mature stages, it's less likely to happen. But in the beginning stages, one can easily become current. And the other aspect is, of course, is that it's not easy to practice Krishna consciousness without the association with devotees in the beginning stages. It's often quite difficult. So in ancient cultures, at least in India, the whole society was designed to try to facilitate the occupation, the nature of the individual, at the same time to give spiritual opportunity in life. But now it's almost one or the other. It's like very difficult, because our society is mainly geared towards materialism and material success and so on, education, occupations. A little more difficult. You feel like it's almost one or the other. Spiritual life is like something over there, and material life. But you shouldn't be like that. So in an actual human culture, society, they would be simultaneous. You wouldn't have to leave or go. Both would be going on simultaneously in a healthy way, so you could gradually progress according to one's position. Sometimes imitation, we try to become a pure devotee overnight, and we're not perhaps quite ready for it. This is the process of gradual purification. The whole, scientific or systematic program for gradual development. We're in a system where that's not facilitated, it's not there. difficult to create, to maintain steady consciousness in a very troubled world when we've already got all of our various attachments, our various desires and so on. Very hard just to accommodate them and not become attracted or carried away. Sometimes we may also, our behavior patterns, we may behave offensively or negatively towards other living entities. That doesn't help also. So getting the right association, the right medicine. It's like you go to a doctor, the doctor has a medicine, but if you get the wrong medicine, it's not going to help you. I remember one time in Malaysia, I had a disease called E. coli. Have you ever heard of it? I don't know what it's called. Is it called E. coli here? Any doctors? It's E. coli, is it? E. coli? Different traits of E. coli. This is a very dangerous trait. It can kill you if you don't deal with it after a very short time. I was lucky. The doctor quickly analysed it and it took a while to cure it. And whereas one other devotee, maybe a year later, got E. coli, but they took him to hospital, but they didn't analyse it properly. They thought it was a severe case of malaria. And they started treating him for malaria, which is the worst thing you can do for E. coli. And his whole system collapsed. Every organ in his body stopped functioning. And he was on full life support. For a month he was in a coma. And not induced. He just lost consciousness. And they didn't think he was going to recover. He's somehow never recovered, but he's never the same again because they gave the wrong medicine. Same disease, but they gave what? They thought it was another disease. They gave the wrong medicine. It was medicine, but it wasn't appropriate for them. And therefore it had a negative effect. So that is a tendency sometimes to expect everyone to be exactly the same, but they're not. We're all conditioned differently. So the expertise which is lacking in my part of a very realized soul is to see what is the right dosage also. If you take too much of the medicine, you can get sick from that. You're not ready, you're not strong enough to take it. Or too little, it won't be enough. So it's a fine line. But there are certain things which are general and there are never a loss. If we stop doing it or we don't follow the process of doing it, then what to do? But chanting the holy name is good for everyone. Taking prasadam is good for everyone. And then the details are there. So appropriate association, activity, philosophical content, behavior, interactions, all these things are details which definitely do disturb people a lot. What to do? It's like that. Definitely when you're fighting a battle, some may not be able to take it. It's a little bit difficult. The material world is very, in this Kali Yuga, is very prominent. The materialism is very prominent. Associate with devotees and try to put the essential things which we can do together in the center, chant Hare Krishna, take prasadam, render service here, and then see what else we can do. Associate with devotees, favorably, proper association with devotees. And that doesn't just mean a social club with people who have a similar problem, a similar grudge, but rather we shall associate in a way to put Krishna in the center as much as we can. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Last one more question. Yes, sir.
Well, my name's Lee.
Lee?
Lee.
Lee.
I'm very new to all this.
New or neutral?
I'm very new.
Oh, well, I'm also very new.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank you all for welcoming me into your temple and making me feel most welcome here.
You're always welcome.
I come from Scarborough.
Pardon?
I come from Scarborough.
Scarborough, did
Yeah.
you come together? Oh, wonderful.
With John.
Ah, John, where's John? I don't know where he is. Is he here now? I thought he'd gone. John's still here. If I chant, please. Yes, please.
I've searched for I've searched in a lot of different kind of religions to get some peace and happiness and a bit of love, which is what I'm longing for. What advice can you give me with this that you're doing today? What advice can you give me for me to find the love and peace and happiness that I need in my life?
And this
What
is
advice?
the all important question, I suppose, which every living entity wants. We all want happiness, love, peace, and maybe a few other details, but those three are pretty much universal. Pretty much universal. So that's what this... There are many, many different methods to try to achieve the natural instinct or natural need of the soul. Material, different degrees of material commitment, processes are there, different group activities, so many different things to try to bring that about, because it is natural. It's the complete nature of the soul to desire these things. But unless, as we've been a little bit discussing, as long as the living entity is covered by various degrees of lust, the real happiness, love and peace cannot be experienced. Real peace is when we realize our true spiritual identity. Not just that we're men or women or old or young or rich or poor or black or white or human or animal or educated or whatever it may be, whatever identity we have. There's only a certain degree of peace, love and happiness there in relating to similarly minded persons of similar consciousness. Because material, whatever, is always changing. We have to find that platform of relationship which is eternal, which is permanent. And that is the essential, underlying and so direct, emphasis of Bhagavad Gita, to find out our root, who we actually are. It's only when we find our real home, our real nature, our relationship with the Supreme Person, only then, because love is born of the Supreme Person, because it is reposed in the Supreme Person. We're all His parts and parcels, every one of us. There's no question of the chosen one. Every living entity comes, everything comes from that supreme reservoir of love and pleasure. Free will, we may have a little free will, and we've chosen to look elsewhere to satisfy that natural desire. But that desire will only be fully satisfied, like a child who may go away from home to try to enjoy independently. And of course now it's a whole different world, we could say, but in principle only when a child is at home is a child fully in a safe, satisfied, peaceful situation. So similarly, when the soul reconnects with the origin of love, we all have a loving relationship with the Supreme Person, as a person. And that's why we have this hankering for love. And he, in his association as a child, feels completely peaceful in the association of the parents, safe, protected, and happy. Similarly, the soul, when connected with Krishna, or the Supreme Person, or whatever name you may know, then the satisfaction, the more we're connected, the more peace, satisfaction, and happiness is there in love. So that's the reservoir. So how to achieve that, how to work towards that, we'll simply suggest, the choice is ours, the proof of the pudding is in the eating, as they say. You try this a little bit if you wish. That's what I did. I just applied it a little bit myself, and then I chose what to do. This chanting of Hare Krishna, and just associate with devotees. And details you can ask them, John and the correct chant, or his wife, who's too busy. As today she couldn't come today, her occupation was there. But you can inquire for them in details. Because there's no question of somebody can and somebody can't. It's this nature of the soul to have this connection, this loving connection. So this is especially made quite easy through this chanting or this mantra, this hearing and chanting this sound vibration. There are many details there. And you can see for yourself. Try to read the Bhagavad Gita with others so you can get an understanding of how it can apply in your life, because we're all different. We all have our different conditions, our different attachments, and so on. But Krishna consciousness is good for everyone. It's universal. They started off with that little book, Animals in Krishna Consciousness. And so many animals who came forward to take part in Krishna consciousness on their own choice in many cases. How amazing it is to see that they have this spontaneous, not so spontaneous, but it's a natural attraction towards Krishna consciousness and to that devotion service, even in the bodies of animals. Quite unique. So what to speak of human beings? There's something there for everyone. And please look into it in your own time. I'm sure Nitai Chan can give you some books if you haven't got them. Do you have any books? You have the Bhagavad Gita, Lee? You gave in? So try to go through it. Try to go through it. Try to see how you can apply some of it in your life. Otherwise we don't know an experiment you have to put into practice. Give it a go. And chant Hare Krishna if you can.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very nice. Very good. Yeah, very good. You'll see step by step.
Thank you.
What do you do? Are you working?
No. I'm applying for university.
Like what do you want to do?
I'd love to become a psychiatric nurse.
Psychiatric nurse. Nice. Trying to help people. You got many devotees who are psychiatric nurses or doctors in that line. Maybe here, I don't know, but in all over the world. Purna Sindhu, he's a psychiatric.
I wanted to become a psychiatrist, but I'm not intelligent enough.
Not intelligent enough. Most
I
intelligent.
don't have the relevant
The
qualifications.
real psychiatrist is the spiritual one.
Yeah.
You become really intelligent, spiritual psychiatrist. Help people to, because their problems, psychiatric problems, are also due to this identity problem. And we don't know who we are. Find out who you are. Not just material, but spiritual. Then you can really help people, material and spiritual. One is good to try to help people. Keep in touch and as you can.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear. You would have given a lot of prasadam, I think. He looks like he needs a lot of prasadam.
Nice prashad.
Good, that's good. Good start. Very good start. Hare Krishna, thank you all very much. Prabhupada ki jai.
Holiness Chandananda Goswami ki So just before we move on to the next part of the program, at the start of the class there Maharaj was speaking about the Grateful Dead. And actually it's an important part of Krishna consciousness to be grateful. To listen to the Grateful Dead. So it's an important part of Krishna consciousness to be grateful. Sometimes this is known as the yoga of gratitude. We're grateful to Krishna for everything that he's doing for us and everything he's providing for us. To show that gratitude, we love and we serve Krishna and we chant his names. And it's also important to show gratitude to the devotees, to show our gratefulness to the devotees who are serving Krishna nicely. So today we wanted to show our gratitude to some of the devotees in our congregation. In fact, first we'd like to show gratitude to Janananda Maharaj for that wonderful class. So let's give him a big Hare Krishna on the count of 3. 1. Hands up, look, hands up. Both hands in the air. Let's show our warm gratitude. 1, 2, 3. Hare Krishna! Very good. So we also wanted to show our gratitude towards the devotees who are serving in this congregation, in this family of ISKCON Newcastle. And particularly this was Vrinda. She's brought little gifts for everyone to say thank you for all of their service. So what we want to do is we want to call out the devotee, and then Vrinda's brought some little gifts for everyone. And we wanted Maharaj, we wanted to take advantage of Maharaj's association, we wanted Maharaj to give the gifts to the devotees. Yeah, that's going to be part of it. So I stand corrected, actually. Husband doesn't always know what his wife's doing, so actually it was also my wife, Jagannath Aishri, and her mother, Vrinda, that have wanted to show their gratitude to all the devotees. So they've bought gifts for each of the individual devotees. So this is in no particular order, but we are going to start with the kids. There you go. So firstly we'd like to say thank you to Gaurangi. She made this wonderful garland for Maharaj, and she's always coming to the programs, and she likes to hand out the flyers on the Sacred Street Party and the Prasadam sweets. So we'd like to ask Gaurangi to come forward and receive a little gift from Maharaj. So you give her a little round of applause. Gaurangi, please. Maybe pass the books over as now Maharaj will start signing. Just give them as much as sign as I'm speaking.
Do they have a choice, or the children get books?
And okay, next we'd like to thank Gia. Here she is. She has been a great devotee in our community for a long time. She loves singing Hare Krishna. She's always happy and jolly. And this is her grand spiritual master. Let's give her a round of applause too. And her sister Kishori. Is Kishori in the room? Kishori! Just now coming. I know, this is her younger sister. So let's give Kishori a big round of applause as well. Haribo! Back to Kishori Ki. And then Batman, Banu Nitai. Here he is, he's usually got some Batman socks on. Where are your Batman socks today? Give him a round of applause. Oh, he has got them on, okay. Okay, and his little brother Oscar is wearing very nice dhoti today. Banu, do you want to escort your brother? Bring little Oscar along as well. Look at that, he's wearing tilak today. Give him a round of applause. I think these are colouring books. This is to keep all the kids quiet during the class. And we have a special one for Daniel. Where's Daniel? It's his birthday today. And in fact, I think we have, one moment Daniel, we have a little special gift for you because it's your birthday. How old are you today, Daniel? He's 8 years old today. And his grandparents are here as well. Here you go. We've got a little cake for him later, but for now, we've got a special gift for you, Daniel.
Wow, Daniel.
He comes, here he is. Back to Daniel Key. So it's his 8th birthday today. There you go, he's not wasting any time, we're getting into that present. So we're going to be singing happy birthday to him a little bit later. And now to move, because these are the kids, now we're going to move on to the big kids, or those who are young at heart.
What about these young guys?
Yeah, I don't know, this is the list I've been given. We can. In one sense, it's hard to thank everyone. I haven't met these guys, but what's your name? Let's give them a good round of applause. What's your name? Connie? Honey. And this is your brother? Okay, so let's give Connie, and what's your name? Joseph. Let's give Connie and Joseph a big round of applause. Is this their first time to the temple? Okay. Connie and Joseph, please. And what's your name? What's your name? Durgesh. And let's give Durgesh a big round of applause as well. And who's this little boy? This little boy in blue over here, what's his name? Romy. Bo-May or Bo-Mick? Bo-May, sorry. I'm getting a bit old, my ears are not as good as they used to be. So let's get his left name. Let's give Bo-May a big round of applause as well. And now the big kids, again, this is in no particular order. We'd like to thank Radhesham and Madhuri. I did see Madhuri earlier. Oh, here she is. She can accept on behalf of Radhesham also.
Whoa. Wow, look at this. Prabhupada nectar.
Radhesham and Madhuri. I would like to thank Bev. Where's Bev? She's not here anymore. She was here earlier. Anyway, well, Bev, she's not here, but we'll give the gift to her. But she's one of the most avid readers of Srila Prabhupada's books in our congregation. She loves to come and serve, and she does the flowers on the altar. So anyway, let's give her a Haribol anyway. Back to you, Bev. Okay, this is going to be hard because the next one he's filming it, so someone's going to have to hold it. So back to Vishal Prabhu Ki. So Vishal he gives wonderful classes and he likes to distribute this knowledge to others. He comes out regularly on book distribution, and he's also helping with Facebook and different media things. So let's thank Vishal. And ISKCON Prabhu. Where's ISKCON? Here he is. He's one of the pillars of the Newcastle Yatra. Extremely humble. He's always trying to wash your plate. Watch out during prasadam time. He'll try and pinch your plate to wash it because he just loves to serve the devotees. Yeah, pinch your toes as well. Very humble soul. And Jagadish Prabhu in his wonderful uniform. Mighty, always serving the Almighty. Jagadish is a wonderful cook, also another very humble soul, and we'd like to thank him for all his service over the years. Jagadish Prabhu Ki. Okay, and then I'd like to thank Keshavananda. He's left the room just now. He's also another humble soul, but he does so much service here in the temple. He made these wonderful bookshelves here. He made this nice little house for Tulsi here. Helped to install Garuda on here, these nice cupboards. He's a real handy man. He can, helped us with the television. He can pretty much do anything he puts his mind to. He's a jack of all trades. And he's just recently taken initiation. Keshavananda. So I don't think he's here. If someone wants to go and get him, they can do. Maybe when he comes, we can present him or something. Someone maybe like to go and find him. Then we can give him a little round of applause. And also, is Kirill here today? Here we go, Kirill. He's a great musician, loves to play the guitar, loves to sing Hare Krishna and share it with others. Kirill. We'd like to show our gratitude to Pratik Prabhu. He's our resident Madanga Basha. You can always rely on him to be, sometimes in the kirtan you're not quite sure, some of the people they're not playing in time, but he loves to play Madanga. He came out with us all afternoon yesterday. Anytime there's kirtan, Pratik's there with his Madanga, and he's the ambassador of Dubai. I think he's given practically everyone in our congregation a Dubai t-shirt. Maybe he's working for the marketing and tourism of Dubai. But he's studying here and we really appreciate all of his association. So, Pratik Prabhu Ki! We'd like to thank Ramai and Vrinda, my mother and father-in-law. They're certainly real pillars of the Newcastle Yatra. Who likes to eat prasadam here? Put your hands up if you like to eat prasadam. So, for most of the programs, Vrinda and Ramai are down in the kitchen. They say an army marches on its belly, and they're always serving in so many ways, actually, all of the programs. So we'd like to say thank you to Ramai and Vrinda. Oh, it looks like the wife took both gifts. Ramai knows his place. So Ramai and Vrinda Ki. And we wanted to, anyway, Keshavananda wasn't here, but we wanted to show our appreciation. We're just showing our appreciation to some of the devotees. And Vrinda and Jagannathesh, who brought everyone a little gift. So we've got a signed book here for you from Jagannath Maharaj. Please give Keshavananda Prabhu a big round of applause. Keshavananda Prabhu, hey!
I think this is an indicative book.
Thanks, Keshavananda. Okay, so next is Manjit Prabhu. Where's Manjit? Here he is. So usually at the end of the program, when we ask if anyone would like to help cleaning up, we get a few volunteers, but some people use that time to shoot off. But Manjit's always here right till the end. He's always cleaning the temple room, he's sweeping, he's mopping, doing so many menial services. He helped us install the CCTV and we'll get the CCTV. So he's a loving husband of Anu, so I'd like to thank Manjit Prabhu Ki.
You want him to go to another planet or what?
Actually, I should also say he's a very flamboyant dancer as well in the kirtan. When the kirtan gets going, you'll see those moves. He's a great dancer. We'd like to thank Yadav Prabhu. He's here. He's also a resident Madanga Basha. He's a very nice Madanga player. He's working here as a doctor. And he's also, he knows the Shastra. And we're really happy to have him here in Newcastle. So, Yadav Prabhu Ki. Yes, originally from Mauritius, yeah. We're stealing all the devotees from Mauritius and we're bringing them to Makam, Sri Makam Dham. We'd like to thank Gokul Krishna. He's we met him actually on one of the Sacred Street parties. He's been coming ever since. He comes to all the Wednesday programs and he's always here for Prashadam. Because you see, he's very sporty. He plays practically every sport under the sun, so he has a lot of energy that he burns off, and he's got a great appreciation for Kirtan and Devotee Association and Prasadam. Am I right, Gokul? Is that right?
Prasadam a lot.
He never misses.
He's washing the pots.
And he's always washing the pots. You see, he likes to take the Prasadam, and then he likes to wash the pots afterwards.
He washes the pots.
He's not always smoking pot, Maharaj. He's always doing the pots, washing the pots. And we'd like to thank Swati and Venkatesh. They've just started coming, but they're showing great enthusiasm for Krishna consciousness, and they're coming along to all the programs. So I'd like to thank Swati and her husband Venkatesh. I don't know if he's here. Give them a round of applause. Oh, that's for both of you. Yes, again, the wife takes the present. And I'm not sure if Antonella's here today, but Antonella from Italy, she's also very, very enthusiastic. She came along to her first ever morning program last weekend or the weekend before. She was here at 5 o'clock in the morning. She was here before all of us. And she's also very enthusiastic to learn about Krishna consciousness and share it with others. I don't think she's here just now.
She will come after work.
She's coming after work, so anyway, let's give her a round of applause. Antonella. I'd like to thank Akendra. He's the well-built guy in the corner there. I was envious of all his muscles, look at him. But he's always so jolly. He looks eternally youthful. He looks half of my age, and he's older than me. And he's always enthusiastic. He's learning right now how to do arti for the deities and Srila Prabhupada. He looks very. He's a good cook, and he's always very, very jolly. Yeah. Yeah.
He's working all night now.
Yeah. He works on the doors sometimes in Newcastle, right?
Yeah.
We should have Kendra as our doorman, actually. Today we've got Kirill, Slavik. He's also a well-built guy, so if we have these two on the door, probably wouldn't let half of us in, actually. Kendra Prabhu Ki. Anyway, Yeah, give everyone a round of applause. We don't have any. Well, we should maybe give everyone a little gift. Yeah. So we wanted to say, firstly, we apologise if we have got a few more actually. We haven't quite finished it, but if there's anyone that we haven't mentioned in the list, don't curse us. It's not easy to. But we'd like to thank everyone for coming along. And actually, are there any people who are here for the first time? Put your hands up just now. Saxane always puts his hand up there. And what's your name? Pratamish. Where are you from, Pratamish? You're from India. You've come all the way from India just for the program today. Oh, okay.
My family, wife Sanika.
Ah, wonderful. Okay, so please let's give all of them a round of applause and welcome them to ISKCON Newcastle. Yeah, that's right. We have Honey and you have to remind me of your name. Joseph. I'm getting old. Honey and Joseph, and this is Mum and Dad. And what are your names again? Neela. Oh, Lena. Should have got someone else to do the announcements. Nina, sorry. And Matt. So let's give them a warm round of applause. Who's going?
First time here, Lee.
Okay, yeah. Okay, just we wanted to say no one go anywhere just yet. Vishnu Priya, no one go anywhere just yet. Your bus is late. Okay. Okay, well let's just do this and we'll carry on with the newcomers. So we wanted to say a big thank you to Vishnu Priya and Prema Sankirtan. The girls have already had a present. I think they're going to have to go because of their bus. Do you have time to get a little gift?
Come on, just go. You can.
Papa will take it. Come on, you can come and take it, Vishnu Priya, quickly. Okay, let's give Vishnu Priya a big round of applause. And Prema, so the wife gets the present. So Prema Sankirtan and Vishnu Priya, they're the life and soul of the party. Prema Sankirtan gets everyone smiling and laughing, everyone dancing. No one escapes from dancing in the kirtan when Prema's around. Vishnu Priya is a very good example of a very humble devotee, always serving in the background, unassuming. Anyway, they're wonderful devotees and we really appreciate them in the community. They have to go back and catch the bus now, so Vishnu Priya, Prema Kishori and Jia Ki! Okay, we're still going through the newcomers. We'd like to welcome Lee. Give Lee a big round of applause. Anyone else who's here for the first time?
Brother's wife here, Ashima, and my brother here as well for the first time. Well, I mean, he's been here like 5 years.
Your brother?
Yeah.
Which one's your brother?
Outside.
He's outside. Okay. Did Slavik not let him in because he was on the door? What's your brother's name?
Manish.
Manish. And his wife is somewhere? And what's your name? Ashuma. Ashuma. And Manish. So let's give Manish and Ashuma a big round of applause. They've come, of course, today to help celebrate Daniel's birthday, so we're really happy to have them with us. Yeah, Lochanananda and Garanga Prema, let's give them a big round of applause. Well, Lochanananda, I only met him yesterday, but he's won my heart. He loves distributing Prabhupada's books. We went on the Sacred Street party yesterday. As soon as we got there, he was picking up books. He was just letting them fly, engaging so many people. And today he's cooked the feast. So let's give Lochanananda Prabhu a big round of applause. We have one other newcomer over here. Don't like to label. We'll do Garanga. Okay. And is that Garanga? I can't see here. Sharadiya Rasa. She's I know. Maharaj was pointing out. So give me a second. I can't do everyone all at once. I'm not Lord Brahma, I've only got one head, not four. We wanted to say thank you to Sharadiya Rasa. She's very learned, both materially and spiritually. She's been studying, she's doing a PhD in Durham just now, and she gives very, very nice classes. So I'd like to give Sharadia Rasa a warm round of applause. And sorry, Prue, you're here for the first time. What's your name?
I am Neeraj, and I recently shifted to Newcastle 2 weeks back. So
Oh, wonderful.
I know about the organization.
Welcome. Thank you very much for coming, Neeraj. Give him a round of applause. Incidentally, if anyone is here for the first time and you'd like to find out about further programs, underneath the notice board there's a little book with a pen, and you can write your email address in there, and then we can keep in touch with you. So thank you everyone for coming. Now we're on to the next list where we have some gifts from everyone. So we'd like to thank Saraswati and Dhananjaya. They've been in Newcastle, probably one of the longest serving devotees here in Newcastle, Dhananjaya and Saraswati. They've been practicing Krishna consciousness since late 70s, and both very, very wonderful devotees in many respects. We'd like to thank Andrea and Satchameda Prabhu. Where's Andrea? Oh, come on, up you come, Andrea. This is the mother of Banu and Oscar. Andrea makes wonderful cakes. I think she may have made one today, and Satchameda Prabhu. I said Eka Chakranath was the most humble devotee earlier on, but it's a close race between Satcha and Eka Chakranath.
No, he's my guru.
Satcha is also responsible for all our media and online presence here, developing the website and so many other things. You never see Satchameda not smiling. Give us a big smile, Satcha. He's one of the most jolly and humble devotees in the community. We'd like to thank Lakshmi Nrsimha Priya. Give her a round of applause. She's always serving in many ways. She cooks a fantastic apple crumble, really spicy apple crumble. She loves to decorate the altar and spicy, yeah. She puts like cinnamon and she puts hairs on your chest. Even the ladies. Now we'd like to thank Lakshmi Nrsimha for all of her dedication. She also leads very nice kirtans. Thank you very much, Lakshmi Nrsimha Priya Dasi. We'd like to thank Kamut and also her two daughters Supriya and Shruti. They've been coming to the temple for years. Kamut, she loves to read Prabhupada's books. She gets up really, she leads a very inspiring me in so many ways. She does so much. I couldn't do half of what I was doing without her. And she's a great cook. She's a great kirtan singer. She looks after the kids. She does so many nice things. Likes to decorate the altar. I'm being a bit biased. I'm giving her a bit more glorification. If I don't glorify, I'm going to be in trouble later. No, I'm just joking. I mean it sincerely. So Jagannath Eshwari Ki! So sorry if we've missed anyone out.
Somebody named Chaitanya Balba. Anybody here with the name Chaitanya Balba? Anybody here with the name Chaitanya Balba? Anybody here? Anybody with the name Chaitanya Balba? Here he is. Chaitanya Balba, if you haven't worked that out, he's the wife of, he's the husband of Jagannath Eshwari. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
We just wanted to thank Chaitanya Vallabha for all of his service he's been doing and for being so personal and inspiring all the devotees in Newcastle. He's always up till very late at night after he comes back from work. He's always doing emails, making sure it's personal, making sure he's involving everyone. He's always over the phone with different devotees, encouraging them to come out. And we would also like to thank him for organizing the Sacred Street Party. There are some devotees who've been coming to our temple for 20 years, never hit the street before, and he's taken them out, and these devotees are doing good distribution. So thank you so much for your service.
Hare Krishna.
I wrote that down for what to say. We'd especially like to thank Srila Prabhupada, because actually if it wasn't for Srila Prabhupada, none of us would be here. So Srila Prabhupada's constantly inspiring all of us through his books, through his lectures, through his dear disciples. So we'd like to give a really extra special thank you to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki! And our offering to Srila Prabhupada is that we're going to continue with this sacred street party forever and ever, and continue to try and share Krishna consciousness with everyone in the Northeast. So we'd love you all to come and join us as well. So we're going to move on to the next part of the program now. We're going to have kirtan. Like we said, sometimes Srila Prabhupada said, all of my books are word jugglery to convince us to chant Hare Krishna. And Maharaj was mentioning about the higher taste during the class. And actually the higher taste is certainly there when we really try to absorb ourselves in kirtan. So, Vrinda, have you asked anyone to sing? Perhaps we can ask either Gauranga Prem or Lochan Ananda if they'd like to lead. Or Maharaj, would you like to lead? Let's ask Gauranga Prem. I heard him singing kirtan when he came in. Lochan Ananda. Okay, Gauranga Prem led the first kirtan, so we're going to ask Lochan Ananda. Who would like to hear Lochan Ananda Prabhu lead the kirtan? Put your hands up. We're living in a democracy, I'm afraid. So we're going to ask.
We'll have a revote after 2 minutes.
We're going to have a referendum. Actually, he's going to be moving to France, so with Brexit, do we want him to... Yeah, we do want him.
From Australia, not from England.
No, but he's moving to France.
Well,
Anyway, so we're going to ask Lochan Ananda Prabhu to come and lead us in the chanting of Hare Krishna. We'd like to ask you all to sing and with us and stand up. And maybe if we can put all these cushions to the back there. If you need to sit down, then there are some benches up. Otherwise, we ask if you can sing and dance with us. We ask if all the men can come on this side of the room, which is my right and your left. And if all the ladies can go on this side of the room on my left. Yeah, we'll just sing Hare Krishna. Yeah. Oh, really? Does he want you to sing? Okay. Lochan Ananda Prabhu is too humble, so he's asked Gauranga Prema to lead instead.
Two or three is good. Namo Krishna Krishna Krishna